What's up, guys? It's KB. Make sure you subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. Click the bell icon down below so you don't miss a single video from us. And thanks for tuning in to another video from Underground Sports Philadelphia. Now let's get into it.
Philadelphia, baby, you're going to love it. Best sports fans in the world. Actually, the worst, but that's what makes them the best.
What is going on, OTB Nation? Welcome into episode 411 of the award-nominated, honorably mentioned, number 9 NCAA ranked, number 11 Philadelphia ranked, most disrespectful and unprofessional lacrosse podcast on the market. It is the Outside the Box podcast, the official lacrosse pod on the Underground Industries Podcast Network. KB and Deej, little classic episode here as we record this early Friday afternoon. We are going to recap everything that happened in the NLL last week, go into this mini short week that we have. I will be at the Wings game tonight, so if you're there, come say what's up. We will also get into the unfortunate Trey Deere news, where he will miss the 2026 season, and we will get into the semantics of OTB Nation coming through and making the OTB College Show, which name pending. Not sure if we're going to just run with that or if, what we do, but the college episode of the week will be happening starting this coming week with Deej, Hoots, Jackie Knight. Deej, you're just like me for real.
I am, bro. Every year I get one step closer, dog. I'm telling you. I'm getting there. I think maybe the beer to be next year. We'll see.
Hey, man.
Actually, I don't know if I could
took
ever
some
have.
time.
I don't know if I could ever have a beard that big. I think that's just like a little too big for me.
You be on the Kimbo train.
Yeah. See, no, I can't do it. I can't do it, bro. I can't.
Nah, you got to get to like Apollo Creed level.
Ooh. Mm-hmm. I could do that. That is doable. That is doable.
The Kimbo beard would be crazy.
Yeah, that would
be
be
walking around.
You're never gonna see that out of me, dog. I promise you won't. Or like a James Harden, like you're not gonna get it, bro. You're
hiding
not.
your entire mouth.
You're just not. But I don't know. The OTB.
I don't know how James Harden doesn't get
eats?
like, yes, like, or drinks. Like, how does he drink out of a cup?
How does he do anything?
Like, he perpetually needs a squeeze bottle.
Like, do you think he like gets hair in his mouth when he talks?
100%. That
Like,
would drive
ew.
me insane. He needs a squeeze bottle for everything. The cup, he'd just be walking around. He'd look like Zoidberg from Futurama.
That's so funny because I rock with Zoidberg a lot.
Clock it. Zoidberg's the original Clock It.
No, for real. Cause
Him and Mr. Krabs.
If you were watching that, his clampers were going. Claws were just a clawing.
Him and Mr. Krabs, the original Clock It.
Need to put them in a claw machine. They go crazy.
Oh, it's so funny. But yeah, we'll get into all the details of the OTB College Show later on in the episode. But make sure you guys are following us on the socials at OTBLaxPod across the board. We're on every social platform, so be sure to follow us. We're super close to 2K on Twitter, super close to 1,000 on Instagram, which would be sweet. We're growing on TikTok a ton lately, too, which is awesome. So be sure to follow us on the socials at OTBLaxPod. Follow Deej on Twitter at SCS_NextGreat. Follow Hoots at Hoots Sports Media. Follow me at KBIZZL311. Subscribe to the pod. Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts in audio form. Leave us a 5-star review. Leave us a comment and a 5-star rating on Spotify. It goes a long way for helping the show continue to grow, helps us reach new audiences, and allows this thing to keep going to the moon. We've gotten a lot of new subscribers lately, and I think it's working from the new video version being on Spotify. So shout out to all the new subscribers that have been coming through over the past couple weeks. We appreciate you hopping on the train. And, of course, subscribe to both, well, actually all three, Underground Sports Philadelphia on YouTube, Outside the Box on YouTube, Underground Industries on YouTube. Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube is where you get full video episodes of Pro Lacrosse, OTB, every single week. This show not changing at all. be on the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. It'll be collab to the OTB channel as well, so you can watch it in the collaborations tab there. But it is uploaded to this channel. Subscribe. We're at 1,242 subscribers. Let's get to 1,300 before Champ Series kicks off. That'd be sweet. YouTube.com/@UndergroundSportsPhiladelphia. Leave a like on the video. Drop a comment in the comment section. Click that bell icon so you know whenever new videos go live. OTB channel. That is where the video version of the college show will live. YouTube.com/@OTBLaxPod. You'll get clips, shorts from these episodes as well over there. Original video content we upload over there, like when Deej and I do the sporkles, stuff like that is on that channel. We're working to upload all of our guest interviews that we have the files for on that channel too, so you'll start to see them rolling out sporadically on that channel. But the college show video episodes, along with being on Spotify, the college show will be on the same podcast feed. YouTube-wise, will be on the OTB channel, youtube.com/@OTBLaxPod. And then subscribe to the Underground Industries YouTube channel. That is our network channel. Trying to grow that thing big time, youtube.com/@TheUndergroundIndustries. Now that all that's out of the way, how we living, Deej? What's popping?
Well, since y'all last talked to me, I got in a car accident. I'm alive.
Yeah.
I'm well. It's okay. It was just really dumb. So I'm turning right on a street. In front of me is another person turning right. They turn, and they immediately go into the left turning lane. I turn into what is the normal lane to go straight. I'm going straight, minding my business, jamming the music as normal when driving. I was on the phone. I was on the phone talking to someone. And
hands-free, of course.
Yes, hands-free. And I'm driving, and then all of a sudden, doof. And I slid to the right a little bit. And I said, please excuse my language. What the fuck? Ain't no fucking way.
Fuck?
Where's the cheese? But I couldn't believe it. I was like, oh my God, this is not real. I really just got hit. And so I pulled up a little bit, and I'm sitting there. I'm like, okay, thinking, calming down, going through, processing. I get out. I look at my car, and I'm like, okay, not completely terrible. Really just hit my door, my driver door, by the way. But basically, dude tried to take me out. No, not literally. He just tried to get back into the lane because he realized he wasn't in the right lane. So yeah. And then as I'm sitting there, I look in the rearview mirror. I see him still stopped with his hazards off. And all of a sudden, maybe a minute or so later, I look up, no car. I'm like, the fuck? Hold on. What? So I hurry up. I turn around. And then as I'm driving by where I got hit, I see homie in a driveway. I was like, yup. So I pulled in right behind him. Like, you're not going anywhere.
Bring that ass here, boy.
You're not going anywhere. So stayed there. And then I was like, I should probably call the police. So I called the non-emergency number.
Whoop, whoop.
Get an automated
the police in
get
my
an automated machine. And it goes, how can I help you? And I said, car accident. And it goes, I'm going to transfer you to dispatch. I said, no! That's what I didn't want because this is not serious. I'm not in the least bit hurt. The other person is not in the least bit hurt. Both of our cars are very functionable. There's just, damage to it. Do not send some speeding officer to come and take care of this. Don't send an ambulance. This is not a dying matter. And, also in my head, I'm like, I don't want to be taking up airtime or a line for a dire emergency when everything is okay here. So I'm telling the lady.
Meanwhile, in your head, you're like, police, help, police.
Yes. So it's so contradictory, and my head's going insane. So I'm talking to the lady. I'm telling her all the information, and she goes, oh, yeah, is it a Ford Flex? And I was like, yeah. She goes, yeah, they already reported the accident. We got an officer on the way soon. She's like, I'm just going to add your information in here. I was like, cool. So then they finally show up what was 45 minutes, an hour later. So obviously they didn't send a speeding officer. So everything's okay there. She gets there, collects my insurance and everything, does the same thing for him. Got both of our stories. And then she goes back to the car, does all the paperwork and stuff. Comes back. And obviously, like I said, I pulled into this driveway behind them. So she has to get to my car first. I open my door. She goes, "Oh, don't worry. This citation's not for you." I said, in my head, I was like, "Lady, I'm not fucking worried. I know it's not my fault. I know you're not giving that citation to me. You'd find out how worried I was going to be if you said, so I have this. Yeah, lady. No, you don't. You ain't giving me a citation. I didn't do anything." But yeah, she was like, "Don't worry. It's not for you." I was like, okay. Like, because in my head, I'm like, I know. Like, duh, it ain't for me. And, you know, she tells me and gives me, you know, the little slip that has the police report number on it and everything, so I can report to insurance and they can see everything and know what happened and all of that. Got my estimate back yesterday. Just over $6,200 in damage. So I will find out whether insurance is going to total my car or if they're going to fix it. But I'm going to guess they're going to total it out because I was looking on Kelley Blue Book and my car is only worth between $7,000 and $9,000. So I got a strong feeling they're going to just, you know, decide to total it out, which is fine with me. I'll just go put a down payment on a new car. I'm like this close to getting a endorsement deal with a car dealership here for the radio anyway. So, you know, get in there and get it. And they have a lease thing going on right now, where they'll pay your first lease up to $1,000, first month's lease up to $1,000. So I can do down payment and then they can pay the first lease, and then I won't have to pay for an entire month, and I can get something decent and still have, you know, some $1,000 left over in my bank account. Because I mean, the down payment I'm going for is probably going to be somewhere between like $3,500 and $5,000. So then I still keep, you know, a solid amount of that. But yeah, I'm hoping I don't have to get rid of my baby girl. But the good thing is my mom's friend just moved to Africa. Yeah, he got married, moved to Africa, is doing mission work over there for a little while. So he sold us his car, and it's been
curveball.
I know, right? He sold us his car, so it's our backup car.
What
so,
in the 90-day fiance is going on in Kalamazoo?
So that's what I'm driving. Well, like his wife's from here, and like she was back visiting or whatever, like for a while, and they had been dating, and then they got married, and he decided to just like move back over there with her because she had been over there doing mission work already. So now he's just going back with her. They're going to be there for another like 5 years or something like that. Then they're coming back to the States.
Half a decade is crazy.
I know, right? But he sold us his car, so that's been our backup car.
By the time he comes back, the new Xfinity Mobile Arena will be built,
and I'll be not in Kalamazoo anymore. I'll be above the age of 30. Oh man, a lot is going to happen by the time he gets back.
Oh God,
I know, right?
I'll be Gramps, let alone Unc.
I haven't had to drive, you know, a beat up car. I have a backup car, and also if they total my car out, I'm not like scrambling to go get a car right away. People are like, "Oh, have you looked for a new car in case they?" I'm like, no. I got another car to drive until then, so I will be able to take my time finding a car that I like that fits my price point and like all of that good stuff. So I'm pretty happy.
I'm gonna be Gramps in 5 years. Good grief.
Nah, you're just gonna be Unc, bro. You just now reaching Unc status. We talked about this recently in the group chat on Twitter. So it's like you'll be Unc still. You'll be Unc.
38.
Yeah, you still
5 years. That's disgusting.
I'll be reaching Unc age in 5 years though. 31.
31 was a decent year for me. No, 31 ruled.
Yeah, 31 did rule for you.
30 was the rough one. If I'm remembering correctly. Yeah. Entering the 30s has been awesome. tail end of 20s and 30 itself. Woo!
See, I told somebody the tail end of 20 was some BS, and they're like, "No, enjoy it." I'm like, "Nah, I
29
can feel
was
it."
okay. 29 was good. Like golden year was good.
I have a feeling like, well, my golden year was a long time ago. That actually was a really good year for me. Holy hell! But yeah, like I told somebody, I was like, the back half of 20 feels awful. Like I can just feel like I turned 25 and I was like, the next 5 years are gonna be awful.
It's because
I can just sense it. But like
old.
also,
but then when you turn 30, you're young again.
I feel like at 30, I was like, but I feel like at 30, like I'm gonna just like start living like.
Yup.
Just a crazy life. Like, I can just sense it.
It's what, dude.
Young again.
I have started to live my life as if it were just calendars. So like my first calendar is over. I'm just in year 1 of my new calendar.
How long are said calendars?
31. There's 31 days in a month on a calendar. 31 years is a calendar. It's great perspective.
Oh my god,
it's great.
You're funny, dog. You're funny. That first calendar did you in, huh?
That first calendar was a movie
and a half. Goddamn marathon.
Shit.
That's like the ABC Family Harry Potter marathon. Just one after another, long as hell.
Bitch,
lasts the whole week.
My shit was watching the fucking Marvel Cinematic Universe in timeline order.
Which was fun.
Yeah.
That was fun.
I'm doing that with Game of Thrones. I'm doing the timeline with that. Because I'm watching House of the Dragon and the new show that just started before I've even sniffed Game of Thrones.
I haven't watched Game of Thrones at all. Not even an episode.
Me either. I only know like certain bits and pieces from when it was like out live on TV, because it was like everyone was talking about it, but like I don't know any context of Game of Thrones at all. But I've watched House of the Dragon. That show fucks, and this new show is very funny.
I've heard House of Dragon is fire.
It's so good, dude. You would love it, knowing like your Harry Potter and like Marvel like adorations, especially Harry Potter, because there's fucking dragons everywhere. It's fire.
House of Dragons on the list.
The new show, Night of the Seven Kingdoms, so goddamn funny. Like, spoiler, no context. It's not even a spoiler. It's just a funny scene. It's very like Family Guy jump cutty, which is hysterical for a live action show. But like, the dude who's the main character, he's like in this like noble stance, and they're like zooming in on him, and it starts to go into like the Game of Thrones theme, and everyone's like, "Oh, are they gonna use this song again?" Because everyone was pissed that they used it for House of the Dragon, but that song fucking rules. So it's like dun 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 dun, dun, and then it cuts to black, and then it jump cuts, and he's behind a tree, and you just see him shitting behind the tree, and it's just like flying out of his head. It's so fucking funny. I was like, "What is this show?"
Family Guy being so jump cutty is the only reason it's a good show.
It's so funny.
And they tried to replicate. Well, no, not really. People feel like they tried to replicate it with like Cleveland Show and American Dad and stuff, but like they're all instinctively different. Mm-hmm. Like American Dad is nowhere near as jump cutty, but like the things that Stan says are funnier on like an intellectual level. Mm-hmm. Peter's literally just dumb.
But a funny dumb.
Yeah, and then there's Stan, who's like a smart yet not too smart funny. Mm-hmm. And then there's Cleveland, who like is trying really hard but just never does enough, but is actually really smart and just can't figure it out funny.
And he's friends with a bear.
Yes. and a hillbilly who got a wife that can't get out of the motorized scooter.
Oh, it's so good.
And a short guy.
It's so good. Tune into streamer season.
Yeah, I'll be over there soon.
Let's get into the lacrosse deej. Last week in the NLL, we got absolutely ransacked with our picks, and we should have known that was coming because we all had similar picks outside of one game. It was a crazy week. A lot of one-score games in the NLL. And some controversy, to say the least, in a couple of the games. But we'll start with the first game. Colorado 11, Halifax 6. Hell of a game from Colorado defensively. Dylan Ward is, I know we talked about Dauber, Christian Del Bianco kind of being in that S-tier echelon right now. And, you can throw Doug Jamieson in there as well with the way he's performed for Oshawa. Dylan Ward, I think, is just like casually flying under the radar this year. He's played exceptional lacrosse this year. And Warren Jeffrey and that defense in front of him have played extremely well. And that is one hell of a road win for the Colorado Mammoth as they continue to push forward in this Jack Hanna era of their franchise.
Yeah, the offense looks great. It's hard to put in a guy like Jack Hanna and not instantly get better on the offensive end. And then obviously Dylan Ward has already been playing at, an all-world level all season long. A lot of their, if I'm not mistaken, the losses they do have this year are within a couple goals. Like, they're not getting blown out. And they're pacing really well. Like, it reminds me a lot of, what was that, 3 years ago, 4 years ago now when they last played Buffalo in that chip?
Yeah, it was the 2022 championship.
It reminds me a lot of that season where they started a little slow, but bits and pieces of their team were playing very well, and then they started to put it all together, and then all of a sudden, voila, we see them in the championship again. Like, this reminds me a lot of that season, and the only thing that sucks is Ryan Lee is once again hurt, which I believe also happened in that season. If they had Ryan Lee, we would arguably be talking about them maybe being the best team in the league. But even without that, with the pace that they've been playing the last couple of weeks, how good they look, they are inching toward being one of the best teams in the league. Well, they already are one of the best teams in the league, but they're inching toward having that respect of being the best team in the league.
Yeah, I mean, it sucks that I don't have Ryan Lee, but when you have Will Malcolm, who I think is playing at an MVP caliber level as well, 9 points in this game, had a hat trick and a sock trick worth of assists. He's playing unbelievable. You finally get Andrew Q back in the lineup. He had 5 points in this game, including a hat trick. Jack Hanna had 5 points in this game. Dylan McIntosh gave you 2. Connor Knock gave you 2 assists. You had your big 3 that you're going to have for the remainder of the season, barring, any injuries or anything. Hopefully everyone stays healthy, obviously. But Will Malcolm, Jack Hanna, Andrew Q together on this offense is going to be absolutely disgusting. And you pair that with the defense and Dylan Ward, who made 50 saves in this game and only allowed 6 goals. Crazy performance from Wardo. And they're just playing lights out. And, you're going up against Jake Withers. I thought Palo Alto held his own. He didn't win all the face-offs, but he went 33% against Jake Withers. And I think for a rookie, you take that every day of the week. And another good job by Colorado. Their power play defense, they limited Halifax to just 50% on the power play. It was a scoreless first quarter for both teams, which nullifies your typical standing point. You can't win a lacrosse game by going scoreless for 15 minutes. Both teams did. So it was like they only played 3 quarters.
It also happened last week where somebody went scoreless in the third quarter and then they won. And I was like,
yeah,
this is
dumb. Outlier there. But this is the true outlier because both teams went scoreless.
But no, I think that, to me, doesn't make it an outlier. I think that's even null and void. Because then it's like, they basically played a 3-period game.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This is a null and void to your point.
It's null and void.
3 quarters.
It doesn't matter that both of them didn't score because it's basically just a quarter that didn't happen.
It's a wash.
It's a wash.
But, I mean, Colorado won this game in the second quarter. They had a 6-point second quarter, limited Halifax to 2 goals. Halifax won the third quarter and brought it to within 7-4. And then Halifax only scored 2 goals the rest of the game, and Colorado put up a 4-piece in the fourth quarter. So, hell of a win for the Mammoth. They're in second place right now, tied with Rochester at 4-2. And I think they're doing it in a non-conventional way, and we haven't really seen their offense at full strength, and we won't see it at full strength with Ryan Lee out, but we haven't seen this trio of Hannah, Q, and Will Malcolm on a consistent basis yet. So I think the goals will come, but you look at the other two teams at the top of the standings with Colorado, Rochester at 4-2, they've scored 81 goals. Saskatchewan's 6-1, they've scored 88 goals. Colorado's 4-2, but they've scored 56. So they're also just playing elite lockdown defense because you're 4-2, and compared to Rochester and Saskatchewan, who have scored that much, both of those teams have both given up 69 goals.
More goals than you have.
And Colorado's only given up 51.
And the only team better than all of those teams is the 6-1 Saskatchewan that has honestly been playing literally like they're from another planet.
Yep.
Like, that team has been so good.
They're so good.
It's unreal. I think their one loss is to... Who's their one loss to? I know who it's to. I almost said Halifax, but I remember they beat them back-to-back, and I picked them to beat them back-to-back. Is it Buffalo? Needs to be
Ottawa.
Way. Yeah, way back in week 2. That was what? That was like a 2-game week. Yep. Or no, not week 2, week 3.
Yeah, they had the. No, it was week 2.
No, it's week 3. Week 2 was a 2-game week.
Oh yeah. It was a
where because we played Saskatchewan that week and lost by 3.
Yeah.
That was one of the full weeks. Yeah. That's right. That was a 7-game week. But yeah, so they haven't lost since week 3.
and overall their second game as a team.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hell of a
Insane.
win for Colorado, though. And that's just further proof that Halifax, Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde team. Speaking of Ottawa, they beat Buffalo in Buffalo 10-9. And we were talking pre-show, Deej, like, Buffalo just played bad in this game. They were just not your typical Buffalo Bandits in this game, and it was pretty even this entire game. And in the fourth quarter, Ottawa was able to kind of put together a run. They scored 4 consecutive goals. Jeff Teat had a hat trick in the fourth quarter. Hellier scores the other goal for them. Buffalo came close to tying it up. Josh Byrne, Kyle Buchanan scored to make it 10-8 and 10-9, but nonetheless, hell of a performance from Zach Higgins, only allowing the 9 goals, but really weird and just like uncharacteristic offensive game from the Buffalo Bandits. You know, Josh Byrne only had 1 goal in this game, 2 points overall. Ian McKay, same thing. Tahoka, 2 goals. Ryan Benesh had 4 assists. Dane Smith did his thing, had 7 points. Kyle Buchanan had 4 points, but just a really weird, uncharacteristic game from Buffalo, and I think it's just further proof that they are missing 2 of their defensive cornerstones, and it allows teams that have the talent offensively, like Ottawa, to kind of have an opportunity to do what they did and walk into Banditland and walk away with a win.
Yeah, I think first I want to give the props to Ottawa, who came in and played hard. They were ready to go from the first whistle. And you could see their offense wasn't necessarily on fire, but putting up 10 goals against Matt Vince, a lot of teams won this year can't say they've done that. A lot of teams in the past couple of years can't say they've done that. And then it's really just hard and impressive to get to double digits. And oftentimes, should 10 goals win you a game in this league? Maybe not, when you look at the offenses and how well they score the ball. But when you get huge play from, Higgins on the backside, and then you have your offense playing well against one of the best goaltenders of all time, you have a solid shot. But like you said, the uncharacteristic play, lots of turnovers, lots of mental mistakes, lots of pipes and blocked shots, just things you don't necessarily see from Buffalo have happened, not even just this game, but the last couple of weeks. They haven't necessarily looked good. They're on a 3-game skid right now, if I'm not mistaken, which is uncharacteristic. I don't know the last time Buffalo's lost 3 games in a row. I think it's literally been years since they've lost 3 games in a row. Going to have to ask Graham Perro or somebody who has a lot more knowledge than us on that fact.
2-game skid.
Well, 2. They're pretty close to 3.
Because they did come back and win that game against Vegas.
That's right, they did. Yep. But even that tells you, sorry, look at Vegas. They have, 1 win, 2 wins on the year? And they're both 1-goal wins if they have 2. I think they have 2 because I remember
Vegas is 3-3.
That's how bad they've been. I don't even know that they won 3
Same
games.
record as the Bandits.
I didn't even know they won 3 games. That's how bad they've been. But not good. Like they've been good but bad. Like everybody's kind of just middle of the pack this year. If you aren't those 3 or 4 teams we were talking about earlier with Saskatchewan, Colorado, Rochester, and just those 3. You're pretty subpar. Nothing's been great outside of that. So I think this was just a great game by Ottawa to come out and give Buffalo a run for their money and force them to play, especially when they've been struggling.
Yeah, I mean, it's a game Ottawa absolutely needed because they have another tough game. They're at home tonight on Friday as you guys are listening to this, but a huge swing game for them in the standings, and it puts Buffalo at 3-3, and like you said, middle of the pack right now. Hell of a Jeff Teat game. Fourth quarter hat trick is nothing to scoff at either. He's been on fire. The unboxed game that had people yelling and screaming at the clouds about attendance. Georgia 19, Calgary 9. I want to preface this. I will never listen to another Adam Levy stat about the Calgary Roughnecks playing in Edmonton ever again. Parody. We love you, Adam. I don't know where Georgia found their offensive mojo here. It was like a bloodbath from the beginning. I was calling a highly anticipated high school basketball game that Fighting Clan of Vineland won against Holy Spirit, which was amazing. I checked my ESPN app and I see the score, and it was like 11-2 halftime, and I was like, what is going on? Lyle Thompson got his swagger back, is what happened. 10 points in this game, 4 goals, 6 assists. Just an insane game where Brett Dobson got to rest for 15 minutes.
This team needs a goalie.
Yeah.
Not that they aren't trying. Not that they weren't good enough to get to this level. They're not good enough to sustain at this level. I will give you a slight benefit of the doubt because it is the great Lyle Thompson. But in the same token, pretty much everybody else has shut down Lyle Thompson this year, along with the rest of his teammates.
Them young Swarm boys came to play in this game.
Just until then, this team's in trouble. It just doesn't look like they want to not lose. I know that's not true, but what is the front office doing to fix these problems? And hopefully not another temporary Band-Aid like last year that has us in the predicament we're in now.
Yeah, I mean, you had Keen Moon had 4 points. Torrin Eccleston, who I didn't even know existed, so I wasn't familiar with your game. I apologize.
Oh, I knew about Torrin.
5 points, 4 goals.
Good thing you'll be listening to the college pod now.
Caleb Benedict, 3 points. I shouldn't say I didn't know his name because he was on our all-name team. I didn't know he was on the Swarm, is what I should say.
Okay.
Caleb Benedict, 3 points in this game, and Nolan Byrne had 6 points in this game, coupled with Shane Jackson's 6 points, Lyle Thompson's 10 points, and Brian Cole's 8 points. It was what What did Trevor Baptiste once say? Family style. that was this game for the Georgia Swarm. It was such a feat. Like we said, Brett Dobson got to rest the entire fourth quarter. He didn't play 15 minutes of this game. And again, in the time that he played, 31 saves, only 4 goals allowed. Brett Dobson has one game this year where he's allowed double-digit goals.
I mean, we already said it last week, so I ain't going to say it again.
And I think it's further proof that, like, MVP status, his backup, no slight to Devlin Shanahan, he comes in for 15 minutes, 10 saves, 5 goals against.
Gave up a five-piece real fast.
Crazy.
So, no, I don't feel good about the offense in this game at all, by the way. I just didn't want to dive too deep into it because, like, we know the real issue of the team. We've seen that offense pop off. That offense is the same offense that scored 13 goals on Saskatchewan.
Mm-hmm.
13 should win you just about every game in this league. But when you give up 16 in that same game, it doesn't matter. So, no, I'm not going to blame an offense that's been showing up in 98% of the games, i.e., this is the only one they haven't shown up in, when this group, because there's more than one goalie there, is the one group that is not showing up on a consistent basis. It's hard for the team to have confidence that they're going to go out and win games if they have a group that is not showing up consistently.
And I know you have a young defense too, and Kyle Pepper didn't play in this game, which was a bummer, but it's also on the defense. Like, the defense also has to step up in front of those guys, but I'm not removing blame.
I say I'm talking the way I'm talking because obviously I watch a lot more Calgary Roughnecks than you. They're not giving up a lot of transition. They're not giving up a lot of things right in front of the net. Like, a lot of this stuff is distance and time. Like, you can see the shot coming, save it.
Mm-hmm.
Like these are saves that every other goalie in the NLL makes. So it's not like I'm picking on you like, oh, I need you to be better just because you're on my favorite team. I need you to be of the standard of the league. Even if you weren't on my favorite team, I would be talking about you like this because you are below the league standard at the moment. It's just even more frustrating because you're on my favorite team.
Right.
That's it. Like, and I don't know what is the way of them, like, helping him train to get better. I don't know who the goalie coach is there, if they have a goalie coach, etc. Also, how much practice time is he actually getting? Like, all of these things factor, but at the same time, the nature of the game is you got to be the best. So go out and get the best, or as close to the best as you can get.
Not a good performance, but a hell of a win for the Georgia Swarm. I think 19 is 21 was the high last week, so they came close. They were a 2-point conversion away from tying the new season high in goals by a team. But we moved to the most controversial game, or one of the two, but I'd say the most that went nuclear viral. San Diego 11, Vancouver 9. Deej, was Curtis Dixon in the crease?
Was he in the crease? No. But here's what I'll say. They called it no goal on the field. That call on the floor is what made it hard to say he was not, like, that he was completely not in the crease. What I'll also say is I would like them to kind of err more toward the side of basketball or football. Like, okay, so when I say this, like, both of these sports kind of do the same thing. Like, football, 9 times out of 10, well, 99 times out of 100, when they think the ball crossed the line, they call it a touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's a lot easier to go, okay, that guy clearly wasn't in the end zone, than it is to go, did that guy make it to the end zone?
And every scoring play is reviewable in the NFL.
So it automatically goes to that review. Bingo. NBA. With a buzzer beater, 99% of the time, they call it good. Unless they clearly see that it didn't leave their hand on time.
They need to fix that for goaltending.
And then they head on over and look at the monitor. and then be like, okay. And then it's pretty simple. Either the ball got out of his hand before the clock hit 0 or it didn't. Like, I think this is the same thing. You call it a goal, and then it's very simple. Like, okay, he clearly was in the crease, so we can't give it to him. Anything short of that, it's a goal. That makes sense to me.
We need to, like, speed up the review process, too, because it's just such a slog. And when you're in the arena for those replays, man, because I've seen it, it kills the entire vibe of the arena. And here's my take on this, too. Most of these teams, I'd say, 90% of the teams in the National Lacrosse League are playing in arenas that have an NBA and or NHL team also playing in that arena. Why do we not have proper, like, replay angles? Why do we not have proper camera views for this? This is an overall NLL issue for me, because this has been a long-standing thing, dating back to, like, my first or second year covering the league. And there was an issue when it was the New England Black Wolves, and they were playing at Mohegan Sun, and they didn't have proper replay cameras because they didn't have the overhead angle, so we couldn't challenge something. I was like, what are we talking about? My big thing, the National Lacrosse League wants to market itself as the next major league. Then invest in your product and make sure every arena that you have a team playing in has the proper means to function like the next major league. And that includes every possible Zapruder film footage for replays. We need somebody in a control booth in Philadelphia, where the HQ is, looking at games and having people to help expedite this to make sure we're getting these calls correct. It is crazy to me that we operate on a arena-by-arena basis for how replays get conducted, because some arenas don't have the proper technology. Then get it there. That's crazy to me, that every arena has their own set of, like, statute of limitations on how replay is conducted, because whether or not, they have a team playing there determines whether or not they can use certain footage. What are we doing? It's crazy to me that we don't have every possible angle to look at. The fact that we didn't have the alternate angle to see Curtis Dixon's foot, that on the one angle was being blocked by Danny Logan. How does that even occur? Is my first, like, jurisdiction there. It's crazy to me. That needs to be fixed. It's needed to be fixed for years, and the fact that it still operates this way is so minor league, and it drives me crazy. And on top of that, we also need to make verbiage for NLL fans, because shout out to our guy, Trailer Park Sports Network, saying lacrosse needs casual fans for it to thrive and succeed, and he's 100% right. When you have NLL rules being put out and why things are being determined certain ways, and people are just referring to the rule book, and this is Rule 36.8, subsection B, like, I feel like I'm reading a meme. Like, that's what you do when you're talking about, like, funny rules and stuff, and it's like this long lit. Like, I'm not trying to read a Wikipedia footnote to understand why this rule went this way. Say, hey, this is the rule, this is why it happened. I don't need to know this was, a personal misconduct by rule number 36.7, guideline B, subsection F.1. Like, make it streamlined. I don't need to be solving a physics equation to understand a rule in the National Lacrosse League.
Everything should be streamlined. That's what makes the other sports run so well. Like, fans know exactly, excuse me, to an extent, everything is streamlined, because then there's still human error, which just exists, and that's fine. But fans know what to expect, so then they can know when to blame human error and when to blame something else, because everything is streamlined, concise, and they know exactly what it's supposed to be. when things aren't that way, everybody gets really confused, i.e. replay in the National Lacrosse League is like the biggest part of that.
Dude, I'm just scrolling now to see everything. I should not need a 138-page rule book. I shouldn't have to like sift through that and read it like it's the fucking Da Vinci Code to understand certain aspects of the game. It should all be laid out in easy to understand terms for your fans, and that's how you bring in more people to watch your sport. Mm-hmm. It's that simple. Like, it's crazy to me that like we have rules being put out there and like showcasing why something was called a certain way, and it just being described by rulebook page 36.8 paragraph 4, and it's like I shouldn't have to go through and like read all of that to understand what the rule is. We need to streamline things to make it a simpler product to understand, and then that's how you get more people to watch, and that is how, to quote Trailer Park Sports Network, you get lacrosse with casual fans. That's for the box game, that's for the field game, that's for the college game. You make things more streamlined, people will come.
Yeah, they will. It's as simple as things have to be. Like, KISS. KISS works in every single metric of life. And if you don't know what KISS means, then that right there is a problem already. Plain and simple. Like, just do what makes sense. Don't complicate it like you've already done. Uncomplicate everything. Make it really simple and streamlined, and then this thing will actually blow up.
It's very funny you say, if you don't know what KISS is, when tonight is, for the Wings game, it's KISS night. And when I was at Media Day, I didn't know they were talking about KISS the band. I thought they were talking like it was like Valentine's Day. So I'm going to post the clip. I said, it's going to be kind of frisky. And they were like, not that kind of KISS, like KISS the band. I was like, have you seen their tongues? Frisky.
You're funny for that. I need you to get it together.
I need to get my act together. Other takeaway from the San Diego game, other than the controversy, Chris Origlieri looked good.
Yes,
that was a welcome sight to see. He's too talented of a young goalie in this league to have looked as bad as he has to start this year. He looked awesome. I'm hoping that the cause of his struggles was from that injury. He looked good. 41 saves, only 9 goals allowed, went toe-to-toe with Christian Del Bianco, and San Diego get a much-needed win. And I saw our guy Hoots and our guy Neil on the run out talking about this. Deej, I wanted to get your thoughts on it because I think it's doable if he continues to play at this pace. Can Pat Cav win Rookie of the Year?
I mean, anybody can. Anybody can.
Okay, Kevin Garnett.
But no, I think he does have a solid chance if he keeps playing this way. The hardest thing that he's going to have to battle against is popularity. Mm-hmm. I feel like if CJ's numbers are even close to his, and the nod goes to CJ just based off of name, like we see with a lot of other awards in a lot of other leagues outside of just the NLL. Mm-hmm. But that's kind of one of the things I see being in his way. Obviously, the team, not necessarily like in a bad way, but they have mouths to feed, mm-hmm. and he's not the number one mouth on that team, so that also could get in his way. And granted, CJ's not the number one on his team either, but I feel like CJ's higher on that totem pole than Pat is over in San Diego. And then Pat doesn't play every game, or he hasn't in the past, so we don't know if that's going to be a thing again this year. We don't know, barring an injury. Like, there's a lot of things that could be in the way. But if he paces well, stays healthy, it's all, to me, really dependent on how well CJ Kirst's numbers are.
And I will say, I'll kind of push back right now with obviously Captain America being out due to injury. CJ kind of is that first mouth on that Toronto offense.
Is he? In terms,
so.
But I don't know if they're running through him. You know, as far as like they still have Mark Matthews and
but
some other names there. Like in terms of like, I don't know if that's who they're drawing plays for first. Doesn't mean that he's not benefiting the most. I know it sounds weird. Like also like I don't know that they're turning to CJ to take the last shot. Like I think the play is drawn for Mark. Maybe they shut Mark down. And then they move over and go to CJ because he's open. Like, that kind of thing. Like, that's how I feel like their offense is constructed at the moment is, like, we have these older guys who know what they're doing. They know how to get, to their spot. They know how to get their shot off. Let's roll with that. And if that's not working, let's pivot to our younger guys as they start to integrate themselves into the league.
See, I feel like it's almost in a similar vein to what Ottawa's doing where, like, CJ is the Jeff T and Mark Matthews where he is in his career, right? And this is no slight to Mark at all. He's still playing at a high level. He's almost the Rob Hellier to CJ. Where like
right, but if you watch
commanding
Ottawa,
the certain aspects of an opposing defense while the opposing defense is trying to figure out how do we guard CJ.
But even then I see it as more as like CJ's more feeding. So he's not necessarily like that first mouth to feed. He's more of like setting everyone else up.
Let me look at... I just want to see CJ's stats just in general.
Which I haven't looked at them at all. And I don't know what they're like in comparison to Pat's.
Find players. Cursed. CJ Cursed. So CJ in 5 games has 23 points, 13 goals, 10 assists. And for Pat, right now in 4 games played has 5 goals, 11 assists, 16 points.
So yeah, if it remains how it is now, they're gonna roll with CJ. Or even if they flip-flopped. If CJ's within, 10 points or so of Pat, and Pat leads, I think they still give it to CJ.
And I mean, even on top of that, CJ's teammate, Owen Hiltz, 9 goals, 9 assists.
Yeah.
Check one other guy from that same team. Yeah, I mean, I think you're and I mean, you also got to look at all the young guys on Georgia right now. Like Michael Grace, I think, is going to be in that conversation.
Mm-hmm. But we know how they feel about forwards versus every other position.
For sure. But I think Michael Grace might get that nod as a finalist.
Oh, yeah. I could see him being a finalist for sure. He's got good point stature for, the position he's playing, and he's also playing phenomenal to the eye test as well. So
yeah. So we'll see. But speaking of Toronto, they get a win over Rochester in another kind of controversial game from what I saw on the timeline. Toronto beat your allegations. They went scoreless in the first quarter, found a way to win because they put up a 6-piece in the fourth. Very weird game. Like, Rochester played their game, but got limited in the first and third quarters. Even though they won the first quarter, they only scored 1 goal. Only scored 1 goal in the third, and then got limited to 3 in the fourth quarter. They outshot Toronto. They dominated the face-off stripe. Both teams went 1-for on the power play. Toronto just found their stride late in the game, and they were able to put it away. Mark Matthews with the game winner. Tough loss for Rochester and our narrative that they are championship pedigree. I still think they are, obviously, but also weird game. Like, Nick Rose gets pulled from this game. And, Troy comes in relief, only gives up 3 goals in a little over 22 and a half minutes, and gets the win. Crazy game. Crazy game.
I was nervous going into this game. We were picking it because something was telling me, like, Toronto has a shot to win that game. It was hard to go against Rochester at the time, especially with how well Connor Fields had been playing, how well they've been playing as a team overall. But then, like you said, you watched the game and it was just, like, weird. Like, Rochester didn't play bad. but they didn't play like they had like exceptionally well like they had been the last couple of weeks. And Toronto didn't play over the top. They played really solid. They played their game, and it ended up working out for them. But I didn't catch the part where Rosie got pulled, so I don't have much to say there. But to me, it was a weird game in the way it played out, and in the way that both teams played their game. Neither one of them played like exceptionally well. So you would figure like, oh yeah, Rochester probably won by like 2, and then you go and look, and you're like, oh, Toronto won. That's weird. Especially a road game too. They won in Rochester. So that's kind of the one thing that stuck out to me is Toronto's been pretty decent on the road this year.
Yeah, it was a big win for them. Rochester's still, I think, one of the best teams in the league. No doubt about it. They are just very complete, and a 1-goal loss isn't going to change that for me. Saskatchewan continues to be, quite literally, by record and just play on the floor, the best team in the league. 15-10 win over Oshawa. We said it preseason, dude. We were like, this team didn't change all that much from their run in the NLL finals, and they were a half of Lacrosse away from winning the championship last year. They are everything and then some of what we thought they would be. Not even like a poor game per se from Oshawa either. They went 4 for 7 on the power play, the Firewolves did. They limited Saskatchewan to just 1 power play opportunity. Saskatchewan is just a juggernaut right now. Frank Chiliano played lights out in goal. Jake Naso has been on fire since he's come back from injury. And, you know, you want to talk about MVPs, Ryan Keenan is making a damn good case for himself as well. He's played unbelievable. And Saskatchewan is just playing an incredible brand of team lacrosse right now. And I don't know who's going to be able to stop them in the near future or season-long future because they look incredible.
I mean, I said it preseason that I was going to pick them as my team if I could have. Battle of the Prairies kind of makes that impossible. But, I mean, after their run last year, they looked poised to have won last year. And then they just ran into, you know, the absolute train that was Buffalo. And now this year they picked up right where they left off last year. I said Zach Mans was going to be a front runner for the MVP. He's making me look pretty damn smart in that category. Skiggs is playing well on the back end. And they just play with an energy that, like, makes you feel like it's the old Saskatchewan. Like, the Rush were dominant for a reason. And, like, the fans feel it. They feel it. And it's starting to spread around. Tuning into a Saskatchewan game is one of the most exciting things you can do for the weekend. They're going to give you a great game. You're going to have fun. And if you're playing against them, you better be prepared for what is going to be a long 60 minutes because they are a team that plays a full 60, 90% of the time.
They're well coached. They just look unstoppable right now. And they are just such a fun watch week in and week out, no matter who they're playing. So kudos to them. And again, it was not a bad game for Oshawa. And even so, Oshawa went out this week, Deej, and made a move.
Yep.
A big one at that. Which also was just a trickle-down effect of moves because Halifax traded Dobson to Oshawa in exchange for Oshawa's first-round pick in the 2028 NLL entry draft, which then Halifax proceeded to sign our guy, Stephen Keogh, to the practice player list.
Crazy, right?
Crazy.
I was like, what is happening right now? When that all came out, I was like, this is weird. Because for me, it was weird for Oshawa. I felt like you know, they've had some struggles. They haven't been like too far away from like figuring it out and getting back into that groove. They've had a couple really good games this year as well. Like, you know, maybe they were a piece away offensively, but trading with Halifax, was not on my bingo card.
Trading a first-round pick, and this is no slight to Dawson Theed, trading a first-round pick for Dawson Theed is crazy.
Yeah. Like, to me, Theeds brings some good things to the floor. Size. He has a nice shot.
It's hysterical that he's the player that Glenn Clark was, like, calling out about the NLL stepping in and everything. So it's funny that they traded for him, too.
I mean, I think he brings a
if
style
you can't
of
punish him, join him.
He brings a style of offense that Oshawa doesn't have at the moment in terms of size and strength and the aggressiveness that he brings to the offensive end. And maybe it'll be a good switch up for him and for Halifax, who's also had their struggles. So we're going to look back in a couple weeks and say yay or nay, but to me, it shocked me overall to see it happen.
Yeah, crazy trade. And then I also want to do a nice little round of applause and give the flowers to Ryan Lanchberry. 5-year deal with the Rochester Nighthawks this week gets signed there, so he's signed long-term there. Indeed, you also got your wish, because I don't know how this made it through without me seeing it. Your Roughnecks did make a move at goalie. Cam McLeod released. They've placed practice player Colby Bowman on the active roster and removed the practice player tag. Now, I don't know if you're familiar with Colby Bowman, but I just looked him up. He went to Walsh University. He's the type of goalie I'd want on my team. He's a big boy.
Walsh. Hold on.
Colby Bowman. If you just type in Colby Bowman Lacrosse, he's a big boy. He looks like Derek from Stranger Things Season 5.
Is this D3, though? Oh, it's D2. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
I'm putting his player profile. I just put it in the chat. He looks like Derek from Stranger Things Season 5. Put glasses on this kid.
You said you... Hold on. Oh.
That's Derek.
But wait. Why is he a goalie? When they marked him as attack. Am I not looking at the right Colby Bowman? COLBYBOWMAN?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, they said he played attack at Walsh. Maybe he on some Blaze shit, but the opposite. Plays attack and field, but plays
Twitter.
Plays attack and field, but then plays goalie in box.
He's upside down Blaze.
Literally.
I just found his Twitter. And I'm trying to see if I can find anything of him playing field or not. Yeah, I don't know. He's in his bio. It says Calgary Roughnecks goalie.
I mean, hey, he's clearly a goalie in box.
He's Derek from Stranger Things.
He does kind of look like Derek, though.
I had never seen a big boy get on the roof.
You're funny.
Big bows. Last game, Las Vegas 10, Philadelphia 7. I don't know how you can't put double digits up against that Vegas defense and goaltending. Biggest head scratcher of the weekend for me. Wings power play defense was great. Vegas went 0 for 3 on the power play. You can't go down 4-1 early in a game and kind of expect to win. Like Brennan O'Neill did his thing, 5 points in this game. Dalton Young was back in the lineup with Michael Sowers. Sowers only had 1 goal. Dalton Young only had 1 assist. Sam LeClaire, 2 straight games now with an 0-fer. That's very uncharacteristic and kind of concerning. Eric Fennell had 4 points in this game. Joe Retziteritz had 4 assists. This team needs Joe Retziteritz to start scoring. That's a big problem. Joe has been dishing. He hasn't been scoring a lot of goals. He needs to get back to goal scoring. You need to figure out something with Sam LeClaire because he cannot be going over in back-to-back games. That's just unacceptable. And I don't know. It's not great because, again, like Nick Dimmu did not play poorly. 10 goals should not lose you a game in the NLL. Like, it should be much closer. Your offense has to play better. Patra had one hell of a game for Vegas, so shout out to him. But just a bad performance offensively for the Wings, and the offense let them down again because I don't think the defense and goaltending was bad. You have to score more than 7 goals with an offense this talented.
This game for me was like watching paint dry. I was having such a hard time because no one was scoring. And I'm saying that as a defensive guy. Like, do I like watching defensive games to an extent? Like, I need to see some good defensive plays. I need, some big hits, some excitement on the defensive end, just some stonewall in between the pipes. But at the same time, the goals are fun. They're exciting. You got to win games by scoring goals. Just because I played defense didn't mean I didn't get hype and watch, like watching my attackman on the other end score a dope goal. Same thing as I'm watching as a fan. I want to see my defense or other defenses make great plays and then somebody go on the opposite end and do something cool. This game didn't really have a bunch of that. And then, like you said, you start down 4-1, you give up power play opportunities, which unfortunately has been Philadelphia's MO all season.
Well, they limited power play opportunities. Vegas went 0 for 3 on the power play, which was like,
but you still give
win
up
a game
3.
like that.
But you give up 3. Even giving up 3 power plays is you're playing.
Well, I'm saying from the defensive aspect, like
yeah. Well, I'm saying mentally, right? And now you're playing 5-on-4 for at least 6 minutes of this game. It's harder to score 4-on-5. Like, you're putting yourself at a disadvantage 3 times when you were already behind 4-1. That doesn't help you. In a game where you start down 4-1, you need to be having maybe 1 penalty. Because, sometimes things happen. But, like, you want to limit penalties in a game when you start from behind. Especially when you've already had trouble this season scoring. Philadelphia hasn't put up a ton of goals in a bunch of games this year. You're right down at the bottom with who else? Calgary. That's one thing I can say is Calgary is struggling as far as putting goals in the back. Well, as far as keeping goals out of the back of the net. But they ain't struggling keeping themselves out of the penalty box. They're not just handing teams, power play opportunities. Now, we're also not cashing in on our power play opportunities, but we're not putting ourselves at this huge disadvantage on a regular when we're already struggling in other departments. I feel like, there's a few things Philly is doing to themselves. And it probably has to feel good for Vegas to get another win on the board and stay in the middle of the pack and try and get back to the playoffs. I mean, right now, I think they're in the playoffs if they start. They started today, which is obviously so premature. Yeah, they're the 7th seed. They're the 7th seed if the playoffs started today. That's crazy.
Yeah, and I mean, defensively, like, the Wings held the big 4 of offensive, firepower for Vegas, being Donville, Chase Frazier, Mitch Jones, Chris Kluche. Kluche had 2 points. Mitch Jones had no goals, 3 assists. Frazier had 2 goals. Donville had 3 assists, no goals. So, like, you held 2 of their guys goalless, and you held Chase and Kluche combined to 3 goals total. You got beat by Connor Kirst and Patra in this game. Patra had a hat trick. Connor Kirst had 4 points to lead Vegas in points. That's where you lost. You let the complementary pieces dance around you and go to work while you limited, the big members of their team, which is an admirable job by the defense. But again, it comes back to the offense not scoring. You can't have Joe Retziteritz and Sam LeClaire go 0 for in the goal category. You can't have Sam LeClaire go 0 for in back-to-back games points-wise. It's just unacceptable. And, you got to get more from a talented offense. Blaze Reardon cannot go scoreless. He went 0 for in goals. He had 1 assist in this game. Like, that just cannot happen. And they got to figure some things out quick. Otherwise, it's going to be another season down the drain real fast. And then we're going to have to deal with the nonsense speculation. Oh, are the Wings going to be relocated? And I'm not mentally prepared for that. So, offense needs to figure it out. It all starts tonight at home against San Diego, a team that has had their own struggles. You got to put on a performance at home and get a win and snap this losing streak and get back on track to fix your season. But those are the games there and the standings right now. Saskatchewan at the top 6-1. Colorado and Rochester are both 4-2. Vancouver and Toronto are 3-2. Ottawa is 4-3. Vegas, Buffalo, Georgia are all 3-3. Halifax is 3-4. San Diego 2-3. Oshawa 2-5. Phillies 1-4, and Calgary 1-5. And that is your NLL Week 8 wrap-up, brought to you by our friends over at Buff. Guys, there's no better way to protect yourselves when you are outside, hopefully not in the weather Deej and I are dealing with right now. You should be inside during this type of weather. But if you're outside, you got to make sure you're protected from the elements, and Buff is there for you. They've got the officially licensed Survivor buffs, and hopefully before we know it, we'll have sunshine and rainbows. We can just go back outside, go on those hot boy walks, go on some hikes, and do it all while protecting yourself from the elements with our friends at Buff. Use our link in the description to go shop with Buff. That way they know you're coming from us, and we thank Buff for being a proud partner of the podcast. Deej, we move to Week 9 in the NLL. Short week, just 4 games on the docket. Friday, we've got 2 at 7 Eastern at San Diego and Philadelphia at Xfinity Mobile Arena. And at 7:30 Eastern, it's Vancouver at Ottawa. And then on Saturday at 7 Eastern, Georgia at Toronto. And at 9 Eastern, Oshawa at Colorado. What are you looking forward to most from this 4-pack of games?
Is it funny that I want to say nothing? And it's not just because Calgary isn't playing, but like I don't really like any of these matchups. I mean, I'll rock with Toronto and Georgia. That's probably what I'm looking at the most. I'm intrigued to see if Georgia had actually found their groove or if we're really that bad. And then outside of that, I feel like a lot of this is chalk. Like I feel like these matchups aren't great. Like they're kind of two teams that are on different spectrums as teams in the season, and one is kind of clearly better than the other. So there isn't a lot to be excited about this weekend, in my opinion. But the only thing we can be excited about is Lacrosse is on. There's going to be 4 games. Like that. That's what's exciting, is we're going to see 4 NLL games this weekend. I guess, in my opinion, they're easy, but I mean, it's technically a toss-up because anything could happen at any moment. With the way I'm talking, I kind of feel like we're going to see some upsets this weekend. I'm kind of getting that energy now, based off the fact that I feel like so many things are chalk.
I do have breaking news. Breaking news as of an hour ago for tonight's San Diego Seals Philadelphia Wings game. Activated and placed on the active roster, friend of the program, Scott Dominy, back for the Philadelphia Wings. Holy moly, I cannot overstate enough how massive that is for the transition game for the Philadelphia Wings. Glad to see Scooter back. He is like such an energy guy on that team, and it's going to be an awesome pop tonight when he is introduced to the fans, and hopefully it helps the transition game, especially with the way our boy Nicky Rowlett has been playing this year. He's been playing unbelievable. So hopefully it just continues to help there in the transition game with Scott Dominy being back. But Scott Dominy back for the Philadelphia Wings. In a corresponding move, Brian Cameron has been released by the team. There is one game. I guess I'll nice little lob up for me here. My Riverside game of the week. It's Vancouver at Ottawa. Those two teams, with the goaltending both of them have been getting, the way Teat and Hellier have been playing, they're going to be able to go, and Riley O'Connor as well, Connor Kiernan, and that, like, they have the offense to go toe to toe with Curtis Dixon and Jesse King and Keegan Ball and the rest of that Vancouver offense. I think that game is must watch. That's like get your popcorn ready and pop that on the TV. That's going to be the most exciting game of these matchups on paper for me. It's my Riverside game of the week, hands down. Jeff Teat versus Curtis Dixon is, in terms of just like going goal for goal, is going to be excellent cinema to watch. I'm excited for that game big time, and I'll be keeping tabs on it while I'm up in the press box at Xfinity Mobile Arena. But that's easily my must-watch game of the week, brought to you by Riverside.
I like that game. I think, to me, I think Vancouver's just a little bit better, in my opinion. And also, they're coming off that loss, which, like, is never a fun thing to do. Playing this group, whether they're wearing a Calgary jersey or a Vancouver jersey, after a loss is never fun. They play with a level of aggression and really piss-offery, lack of a better term.
Put that on a quote card. Word of the pod. Piss-offery.
that like they're just at another level, and it's really hard to compete against them when they play at that level. So that's kind of the mindset I'm going into with that game. But it is a very exciting game. Has the potential to be a one-goal game, maybe go to overtime. A very close game with lots of action in it. On both sides when you look at the names, especially on the offensive end. And obviously, as I mentioned, I'm going to go Toronto, Georgia as, that Riverside game of the week for me, especially because you look back at their history, that is always a tight game that has, for some reason, some beef involved. They don't like each other, and maybe it's because both of their mascots are horrendous and are scary.
Yeah,
maybe that's where it starts.
Nightmare fuel matchup because of the mascots alone.
Can we get them in a celebrity death match? That would be top
time.
I would watch that over and over because it would be so funny.
I think the beef there probably stems just from when Georgia was in Minnesota, where they were much closer geographically to Toronto. But yeah, nonetheless, that's going to be a fun matchup too. And our Riverside Games of the Week, brought to you by Riverside. It's our new recording system that we've been using now for about 2 months, and my goodness, is it a game changer. We're getting clips out at a faster rate, at a more efficient rate. Our episodes are so much easier to upload. The audio quality on these episodes sounds so much better, and it's all because of Riverside. They are the number one for just video recording, whether it's podcasts, webinars, video series. You should be using Riverside. It's truly been such an efficiency boost for our company, and it's going to be even better with the OTB College Show coming your way as well. We're going to be using Riverside there. No better way to make the switch. We made the switch, and we have been beyond thrilled with Riverside. You can do the same. Use our link in the description to get your start with Riverside, whether you're starting your podcast here in 2026, want to make the switch like we did. Can't recommend it enough. Use our link in the description and get your journey started with Riverside today. And we thank Riverside for being a proud partner of OTB and the official recording software and studio of Underground Industries. I think without any further ado, Deej, we head on over to the pick pond. We feed some ducks, and it is the NLL Week 9 Picks of the Week brought to you by Kenwood Beer, the official beer partner of Underground Sports Philadelphia, Outside the Box, and Underground Industries. It is refreshing light beer, just 4.1% ABV, 120 calories, just 8 grams of carbs. You guys can go to kenwoodbeer.com, use the Kenny Finder to see who's got Kenwood Beer on tap in the Philadelphia, New Jersey, Delaware, Pittsburgh, and Maryland areas. You can also find Kenwood Beer at your local liquor stores in those markets. Again, that's kenwoodbeer.com. Must be 21 or older to do so. And as always, guys, please drink responsibly. I have Hoots' picks here in the chat, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, I do. Deej, we start Friday night, 7 Eastern, first game at Xfinity Mobile Arena, or as I like to call it, the Cable Box. San Diego Seals, Philadelphia Wings. I think this is going to be an awesome litmus test for our guy Nick Rowlett going toe-to-toe with our guy Trevor Baptiste with the way Nick has been playing this year. Scott Dominy being back is a huge factor in this game. And I think the ultimate X factor is going to be the way the goaltending shakes out in this one between Nick Demude and Chris Origlieri. How do you see this one shaking out in South Philly?
Unfortunately, the Wings have put themselves in a category that currently only one other team is in at the moment. It's my Calgary Roughnecks. And that is a category of I don't trust you until you give me a reason to trust you again. And the only reason I'm picking against Philadelphia is because of that. And the only reason I'm not picking against Calgary ever is because they're my favorite team. But I should be picking against them, so I just wanted everybody to throw that out there, that when I be taking that L every week, I know it's coming. But I'm not going against my squad. It's okay. It's okay. I know it might happen, and I'm okay with taking that hit. Unfortunately, with the Wings, as much as I love Philly, I can't take that hit until they show me they can win a couple games in a row or play in some tight games on a consistent basis. I got to lean toward, teams who have had a little more success than them. And I'm going to go San Diego this week.
Hoots is going with Philly. I was going to go San Diego until I saw the Scott Dominy news. Scott Dominy being back is a huge factor because remember back to last season, everyone. The moment Scott tore up his knee, that was when the Wings season went to absolute hell. They lost the transition game completely. That shouldn't have been the case. One player should not make or break your season like that. But nonetheless, getting him back for this transition unit, the way the Wings defense has played for the most part this season has been really, really good. It's just a matter of the offense coming to life, and Chris Origlieri has shown he's been inconsistent. Obviously had a good game last week, but I think when you have Nick Rowlett playing the way that he's playing, obviously going up against Trevor Baptiste is a tall task in and of itself. It's no easy task is what I should say. But I'm going to go with the Wings to get a close win and kind of get their season back on track because on top of this, next week, Philly goes to San Diego to play the Seals. So back-to-back weeks of these two teams playing each other. But I'm going to have Philly win at home this week. Vancouver at Ottawa, Deej. The Ottawa Black Bears coming off a huge win back at home. They've been playing really well. They've been playing really good, cohesive lacrosse. The defense is shaped up quite a bit. Vancouver coming off of that tough, controversial loss. Hoots has Ottawa. How do you see this shaking out with your Vancouver Roughnecks and the Ottawa Black Bears?
I think Roughnecks are going to win. I hinted at it a little bit earlier in saying that I believe that they're just a little bit better than Ottawa. I think this game will be close. I think you were smart to call this out as a possible game of the week. Teat and Hellier will show up and do their thing. It will really ride on how well Higgins can show up. But I think, with the piss-offery that the Vancouver Roughnecks are going to be coming with, I don't think they're going to be able to hold up in Ottawa. And the Vancouver Roughnecks will win a tough road game.
Yeah, this is probably the toughest game of the week for me to pick. Just based on how the two teams are playing, but I'm with you. I'm going to go with Vancouver in a close one. I just think the matchup is Teat and Hellier versus Christian Del Bianco, obviously. Like, that is going to be like cinema. But on top of that, you got Jesse King, you've got Keegan Ball, you got Curtis Dixon versus Zach Higgins, who, is an elite goaltender himself. It's going to come down to the last shot. I think this is a one-goal game. I think this game could go to overtime. It's going to be such an electric game, and I think it's going to be super close, and Vancouver kind of plays spoiler in front of the Ottawa home crowd and gets a road win. We go to Saturday at 7 Eastern, Georgia at Toronto. Battle of Nightmare Fuel mascots. Hoots has Georgia taking home the dub here. Can't say I don't blame them. The way that they've been playing, and they have our pod MVP so far in Brett Dobson. How do you see this one going, Deej? This is also a very tough game to pick.
This one's hard for me because Nick Rose hasn't been Nick Rose this season. Like, there's some games where, yes, he looks like Nick Rose, and there's games like last weekend where he doesn't look like Nick Rose. And you're like, okay, what do I do with that? There's no Tom Schreiber. Like, there are bits and pieces that make this Toronto team not what they've been in the past, but then you look at Georgia and you go, okay, yeah, they got Brett, who's really the only reason that they're currently sitting at 3-3, in my opinion. You take Brett off this team, I think they're in a far different scenario, and they get scored on a lot more. But can I trust their offense to do what they did last week? Like, is Lyle Thompson truly back, or is he going to get shut down again, and we're going to get another 1-2 point game out of him? Are the young guys going to show up and put up the same kind of output that they did last week? I don't know that. And also, even if Nick Rose isn't on his game, I don't see him being as bad as Walsh has been. I have to err on the side of caution and go with Toronto.
Can we tap into Pat Pitts and the House Show loser leaves town match for the mascots? Whichever team loses, the mascots gotta go.
Please. And if it goes to overtime, they both have to leave.
Get them out. Almost on the inverse. Like, I know Nick Rose has had like a couple hiccups here. I still think he's been playing at a very quality level, like top 7 goalie in the league, which obviously isn't your typical Nick Rose because he's regarded as one of the best. But I want to see more from the Toronto offense, and I know we haven't seen on a consistent basis a lot from the Georgia offense, and that's what makes this tough. Is like these two teams don't score a lot. Toronto's typically hovering around like that 10 to 11 goal range almost every week, if I'm not mistaken, with a couple outliers. It's just the Brett Dobson thing to me is standing out, and I got to go Georgia. I think he's going to be able to limit them offensively to where Georgia's going to be able to get just enough, whether it's from Lyle, Shane Jackson, Brian Cole, J-Mac, or some of the young guys who have really stepped up over the past couple of weeks. Keen Moon, Nolan Byrne, like those guys. I think this is a low-scoring affair, and the biggest X factor is Brett Dobson in this one, and Georgia gets a road win. It's tough right now in those types of games. Like, you see the prolific offenses, I'll go with whomever, over Georgia. But when you're in a game like this where Toronto hasn't scored all that much, it's tough to pick them in a game like this with the way Dauber's been playing. So I'm going to go Georgia. You said Toronto?
Yep. That makes me feel good. Because if I'm not mistaken, I think I have won every single game where I was opposite of you two.
Nice.
So that actually makes me feel really good about this. I would have to double check to be 100%, but I'm definitely doing better than not when I pick against you guys. So I feel good about that.
This one might be different. We'll see. The final game of the weekend, the nightcap, Oshawa at Colorado on Saturday at 9 Eastern. Oshawa's been finding their groove a little bit offensively, which has been nice. Obviously, adding Dawson Thied to the mix is going to bolster that offense, but Colorado is playing like one of the best teams in the league right now, and I cannot pick against that trio of Jack Hanna, Will Malcolm, and Andrew Q. And the way Wardo and that defense have been playing, I got to go with Colorado, as is Hoots.
Yeah, Colorado, pretty simple for me. Dylan Ward has been great, and they've gotten a huge offensive bump since Hannah's been in the lineup. Got Q back as well, so they look great. And with a struggling Oshawa on the other side, I can't trust them.
So there you have it. Our picks of the week. Hoots going Philly, Ottawa, Georgia, Colorado. Deej, you are going San Diego, Vancouver, Toronto, Colorado. And I am going Philly, Vancouver, Georgia, Colorado. So we're all over the map this week with our picks. But those are our Week 9 NLL Picks of the Week, brought to you by Kenwood Beer. And I got to say, I'm happy we're all over the map after last week's debacle.
Yes, because last week did us in.
Did us dirty. Moving right along here. We hit our goal, ladies and gentlemen. We talked about it a little bit at the top of the show. We've been talking about it for a while. We said if we hit 100 subscribers on the OTB YouTube channel, we would effectively be adding a second episode per week of OTB to your podcast listening pleasures. And that happened. We will have the OTB College Show episode every week during the college season from here on out, because you unlocked it. You unlocked the goal here. Deej's baby is alive.
Yep.
The OTB College Show will be starting this coming week, so you'll have this episode here on Friday, and the college show will typically release, we're aiming for Tuesday mornings, video-wise on the OTB YouTube channel, audio-wise same podcast feed. It's not changing. You will have 2 episodes a week on your podcast feed for Outside the Box, so if you're subscribed already, Apple, Spotify, which you should be, nothing will change there. Just the video version on YouTube will be on the OTB channel and not the Underground Sports Philadelphia channel. I'm pumped. I think this is just something we never had a true grasp on how to properly do this, Deej, in all the years that it's been you and I running the show, and how to figure out how to cover the college game properly rather than just like reading off a list of games that happen and like doing proper analysis. And like obviously we want to give credit to D2, D3 schools, but I think with an actual show you guys can lay out games that are, worthy of discussing, big, ranked opponent matchups and stuff like that, and then kind of, sift through some of the other key matchups from D2, D3, what have you, but give a more clear-cut D1 look for the college game. And it'll be you, Hoots, Jackie Knight, newest member of OTB. He's a freshman at Syracuse, so we'll have boots on the ground for Syracuse Lacrosse there with our guy Joey Spallina, obviously tearing it up there. But yeah, I think this is just another step forward in like growing this show and making it a better product. That way, we're not sitting here and you guys are listening on Fridays and it's a 3.5 hour episode. It'll probably still sometimes be 2.5 hours, but it's not a 3.5 hour episode, and you're slogging through to get through the episode. You'll have 2 episodes a week now, which I'm pumped about, and it'll be beginning of the week, end of the week, so you'll have OTB twice a week during the college seasons now.
And I'm telling you right now, that show is going to be unhinged. You got to remember, I am the oldest, and I'm in charge.
Yep.
So do with that information what you want. But it's going to be fun. We're going to dive into everything. If you think I'm not talking about the Adrian College Bulldogs every single week, you're insane, because I am. But we'll also get into all the good things that are going to happen in D1. We'll talk, D2, high-level D3 as well. And it's going to be a lot of fun. It's me running things with Jackie Knight and Hoots. Uncle D's going to be in the building. We're going to be asking for all kinds of input and stuff from y'all as well. So make sure you're getting over there. If you aren't subscribed already, Outside the Box Podcast on YouTube. Find us on socials. Get there ASAP. It's going to be a goddamn time.
And we'll be working on getting like college-specific guests. Like I'm sure we'll be getting our guy Brian on that show. We'll be getting Scotty Royster on the show. We'll be getting the college people to talk about some things from their perspectives and stuff, just like we have people on this show. And you best believe we're going to be pulling every string to get Joey Spallina on the show, god damn it, because that's our guy. He's been listening to OTB for years.
So, Jackie, you better be putting in that groundwork already.
You better be like, hey, Joey, let me whisper in your ear real quick. You heard?
You can't say that to me, because I did not think of that. I thought of Yin Yang Twins right away.
Exactly. And this is why we're us.
Just awful.
Yeah, that's gonna be the fun part too, is like you get to run that show, I get to just kind of continue doing my thing and running operations for everything else during the week, and then you get me back on this show, and we're our typical unhinged selves, and it's going to be a goddamn blast.
I'm so fucking excited. Dude, this is going to be great. This is going to be great.
But yeah, that'll start. First episode of the OTB College Show will drop on Tuesday, and it'll typically drop on Tuesdays, and if anything changes, you'll obviously know if you follow us on socials, or we'll let you know on this show how things will go for that if anything changes. But typically it'll be a Tuesday drop for the college show, and then this episode for Pro Talk stays the same. So OTB College Show, 2 episodes of OTB a week. Very pumped indeed.
Yeah,
Plus
I'm telling you.
Plus you got Hoots, who's just gonna drop like the subtle, like perfect comedic drops.
I know. You know how he is. He's such a one-liner. He doesn't have much to say. But when he says something, you better be listening.
I hope you're ready to carry this show.
Like, why do you think me and Jackie are gonna have to carry you? Buddy, you the only one live out west. Anything happening in Denver, you gonna have a whole segment to talk, my boy.
He's got Denver, he's got Air Force.
Yeah, what is he talking about? The women's game, if we get into it, Colorado's not bad out in the Big 12 over there. Like, Denver has a women's team. Like, what are you talking about, bro? You're gonna have a whole segment out west with Hoots.
Mountain Man.
Hoots the Mountain Man.
And now time for the Mountain Minute with Hoots.
Yes.
I'm just excited from that perspective because, like, I won't be on that show, but to just see how you run point and how the show runs versus how these episodes run, where, like, we have, like, years of chemistry now built in, and just seeing how everything
our chemistry
goes.
builds,
it's
and
be so goddamn funny.
It's gonna be so bad for like a month, 2 months. It's just gonna be awful
because you get to play like second in command on this show.
Yeah,
and, like, I get to I'm like the feeder. You now have to feed, and I'm excited to watch you like dish out. Like you're looking for fucking Remy and needing to be Ratatouille.
Yes, yes, and I'm just not used to it. But I think it'll be fun. It's gonna take a little minute to get used to it. We're gonna be a little off kilter for a little bit,
but in a good way.
Yeah. I don't know if my intro cadence will be as good as yours. I got to work on that.
Yeah, you get to do that from scratch.
Yeah, I know, right? Holy shit.
Oh shit. Dude, when I'm cutting clips for that show, I can't wait to see what it like spews out.
It's gonna be just the dumbest stuff ever.
I'm gonna be like, what the hell were you guys talking about?
And it's gonna be like, we might have to put out like OTB College No Context, like Brian does for Stick Talk, because it might be right along those lines of just.
It's gonna be OTB College Show core. It's just every single scene is like, brrr.
Yes,
brrr. You know what the best of those type of like those the core videos are, where it like cuts with those hardcore like static drops? Arthur.
Yes.
Arthur core is the funniest goddamn thing ever. And it's mostly DW, but all of it is so funny.
Arthur is a underrated show.
Oh my gosh, when you go back and watch Arthur as an adult and you just see some of the like clips and like scenes out of context, it's so funny that's a kid's show.
It's so funny.
Like
same thing with like
hysterical.
SpongeBob, regular show. Like you start to look through some of the cartoons and you're like,
so funny.
Why were kids watching
Hey
this
Arnold?
for real? That's the one. That's the one. It's a reason I don't talk about Hey Arnold enough.
Oh, it's so good.
And it's because I would probably get banned. I would probably get canceled for talking about Hey Arnold, so I just don't.
Hey Arnold's incredible. Rocco's Modern Life.
You got a point here.
My favorite thing from Doug on Nickelodeon, and then it obviously went to Disney Channel too, but Doug, early on, when you're a kid, you don't understand why his neighbor is named Mr. Dink. And then when you get older, it's like, oh my God, it's double income, no kids. It's so good.
Yes.
That's impeccable writing.
We could be dinks.
Shit, that's what I am right now.
Let's just get a place together.
I'm like,
well, we would be quinks because we'd have like quadruple.
Pause.
We'd have like quadruple income.
What do you mean by that?
Well, we'd have quadruple income, no kids. Just the two of us bringing in like a bunch of money, no kids. Like, what you mean?
Quink just sounds so like provocative.
Yes.
No, it's not. It gets the people going.
You're spot on right there.
Oh, quink. That and piss-offery. Words of the pod.
Yes. Whole lot more of this coming on the college pod.
Oh, my God. Dude, we're going to have... Dude, because if you don't know, Jack Knight, our newest member, who's coming on for the college show, he goes to Syracuse, works for, like, the Syracuse, like, student media and everything. He's going to be showing up to the shows, like, wearing a suit. You're going to be, like, just casual. It's going to be so great. Jackie Suits.
The chance that he shows up, like, really, like, dressed up on the first episode is quite high.
100%.
I'm literally just going to start laughing. I'm just going to start laughing because I won't know what else to say.
Smacky Knight.
It's going to be like, bro.
Smacky Suits.
But the thing is, he's gonna be upset because if he shows up in a suit the first time, I'm gonna say you're gonna have to keep this going. Like you have to dress nice. Like I'm not saying you gotta go full suit every time, but you gotta dress nice.
No,
now.
it's gotta be full suit. if it's a suit, he's gotta be full suit, suited and booted.
You can do that. I still think you can get away with like, I think you can get away with like a nice cardigan. You know, like that. Like he's got to be our drip guy. He's got to be our Cam Newton if he's gonna show up like that on the first day.
Fully suited, booted on the ground.
So. I hope you're listening to this and you decide not
like
to.
We got to get him some Mad Hatter hats then.
He ain't got to wear. I mean, he probably already wears a hat.
I don't know.
He would be like the first OTB
Instead of
person
Mad Hatter hat, he's got the headset on top of the hat.
What if he's just like regularly on the pod without a hat?
Probably. I've never seen
him
with a hat.
That would be so weird. We don't have anybody that like does that. Not in the OTB world. Like,
doesn't even go here.
Like every once in a while, I will like accidentally forget to not have a hat on, but like we don't do that. We wear hats on every episode of this pod. So if he's just casually there without a hat, I might just lose it.
He's our suit guy. We need to get a suit sponsor.
Hey, I might be getting a sponsorship here through my job with the suit. Suit will play Kalamazoo Custom Tailoring. They'd be getting me together.
Shit.
Nice in there. So I might be able to hook him up. He might have to fly to Kalamazoo to get a little something, but unless he got his sizes already. If he know his sizes like down to the T, we can send him something out there.
Shit.
I can just pick it up and put it in a box, ship it out. You know. We'll work on that. We'll see what we can do.
So yeah, groundwork. I think we laid it out pretty well. Tuesdays will be the release schedule. Mondays will be recording. We'll keep the voicemail line open for that show too, so you can call in about college stuff. Speakpipe.com/OTBLacspod. Still the same rules though.
Yep.
It's the How We Live in hotline. You know the rules. Man, getting Nat on that show has to happen. That's gotta happen.
Oh, I believe I'm gonna check the schedule when it comes out, but the last couple years, the Bears and the Dogs go at it. You know, the first couple weeks of the season. So if they're playing again, he's for sure coming on the pod that week.
It's the Redwoods Bounty Bowl.
Yes.
Oh, it's so good. But yeah, the OTB College Show, youtube.com/@OTBLaxPod, and same podcast feed. So stay tuned for that on Tuesday. One big college thing we'll talk about, because we've been big fans of this player for quite some time, and it's wildly unfortunate he's going to miss the 2026 season. Trey Deere, it was announced this week he is going to miss the entire season for Syracuse due to injuries he sustained in a car accident. Wishing nothing but the best for Trey in his recovery. He's one of the most talented college lacrosse athletes out there, and the fact that we are now robbed of Trey and Joey Spallina going at it this year for Syracuse, which feels like a big year for the Orange, is a bummer. So just sending our best wishes to Trey Deere and his recovery. It sucks that he's going to miss this year.
Yeah, I mean, it always sucks when somebody gets hurt in any kind of way, even more when it has nothing to do with the sport. And then missing an entire year sucks. It's a big blow to them. You know, he was stepping into his junior year. He's going to be a much larger part of the offense than he had been the last couple of years. He already had some connection with Joey Spallina as well. This is a blow to their offense. And really a blow to him. So I really want to send some, strength and positivity to him, especially mentally. It's really hard to stay mentally okay during situations like this when you're getting ready to play for a season, then all of a sudden it's not going to happen. Especially when you've been playing for years and years and years and years and years. He doesn't know a life without lacrosse. And now he's basically sidelined for months at a time, an extended amount of time too. It's going to be a lot on him. So, just sending that love and positivity over to him.
Now, this is just my ignorance with college athletics in particular. Obviously he's a junior, but does this affect his eligibility at all?
Technically, but he can apply for a medical red shirt, and 98% of the time in a situation like this, they're going to give it to him. So if he wanted that extra year, he could have it.
He could.
Yeah, for him, it's more about these situations always go to when they decide to go to the pros. So it's going to be next year, he's going to be looking at it okay, do I want to stay for another year or do I want to go? And then that's when he'll decide to appeal for the medical red shirt. So you see it happen in a lot of sports, but it's all just dependent on when guys can go to the league and what their draft prospects look like and all that.
Yeah, because going into the year, even going into last year, he's been regarded as one of the top draft prospects, PLL and NLL, for the 2027 class.
Mm-hmm. So now it's going to be, up in the air.
Does it stay that way, or?
I think if it drops a little bit, he may look at playing another year at Syracuse just to try and boost that back up, or maybe he doesn't feel comfortable back on that leg again after all that time off, and he wants another year in college before going. There's a lot of reasons why he could try and exercise that medical red shirt, and he may just do it anyway, just to have that option.
Yeah.
He might put it in this year, be like, hey, you know what, I want a medically red shirt this year. Boom, do that, have that there in case he decides to stay the extra year or not.
Yeah, so hopefully it's a smooth and easy recovery for him. Obviously a long road ahead, going to miss this whole season, but just hoping he's back healthy and better than ever for next year, and continues being the absolute dog he is on the field, because he's so fun to watch.
I love watching Trey Deere. He's one of those doesn't score the same goal twice kind of guys. He's so good though. So looking forward to him getting back out on the field at some point. I'm hoping this is a situation where he can come back and play. That's
right.
Also a factor that hasn't necessarily been discussed and brought out, to the public and everything, but there is a chance that he doesn't come back or he doesn't recover healthily enough to, be cleared to play again. These are all things that are factors that have to be thought about.
Which hopefully isn't the case, obviously.
Absolutely.
We'll see him out there. And hopefully when his recovery process is, on the smoother end of things, we can get Trey on the show and chop it up with the boy, because he's wildly entertaining, and I feel like he'd have some fun stories, obviously, playing for that Syracuse team, too. just having some fun with Trey. But best wishes and a speedy recovery to one of the best in the game. And also want to send a congratulations to one of the best in the game, Kylie O'Miller. Announced her retirement this week. The fact that she battled back and was able to get back out on the field during Champ Series was awesome in and of itself. She's an icon. She's a legend. So much fun to watch, and wishing her nothing but the best in retirement and whatever comes next for her, whether it's coaching, whether it's, whatever it may be. She's a fucking superstar, and what a career for Kylie O'Miller.
Yeah, I mean, she's been at the top of the game since she's been playing. She's fantastic, brings a lot of excitement to the game. I don't see her leaving the game for a long period of time in terms of, she'll be coaching somewhere, something like that, being a lacrosse operations or something. She's going to have her hands in the game for a long time. That's how it is when you play at that level and you're that good. You don't just leave the game forever, but it's going to be weird not seeing her out there. I mean, I don't know a time, and that's because of how young my lacrosse knowledge is in terms of being acclimated with the sport. I don't know a time before Kylie O'Miller. So it's going to be weird to not see her out there. That's how it is with a lot of these players on both men's and women's that are retiring right now. Is I've never known the game without those players playing, so now it feels really weird to see them not playing. And getting to that point, it makes me feel somewhat old in lacrosse. Obviously, I'm old in other ranks, but it makes me feel somewhat old seeing these players retire. Obviously, some of them retiring a little early because of the nature of lacrosse and how things work, but this is another one of those, like, wow, what's it going to be like without O'Miller?
Yeah, I mean, she was the first ever draft pick in the WPLL college draft in 2018. She scored the first ever goal in WLL history, and that was after returning from back-to-back ACL tears. So, like, the fact that she even was able to get back out on the field after that is incredible. She's awesome, and she's only 29. Like, she's just getting started in life. And she's part of one of the most badass power couples in lacrosse. She's married to our guy, Rylan Reese.
Which is sick.
Such a badass, like, power couple. Like, you have Alex Austin, Marcus Holman, obviously, but, like, Kylie and Ryland are right
pretty
there.
Close.
Like, just
pretty
awesome
close.
Power couple. Like, so badass. So congratulations to Kylie on one hell of a career, and looking forward to seeing what she does next. That is all we've got for you guys on this one. Make sure you're following us on the socials at OTBLaxPod across the board. Follow DJ at SCS_NextGreat. Follow Hoots at Hoot Sports Media. Follow Jackie Knight at Jack_on_sports. And you can follow me at KBICCL311 on the tweet machine. Follow along. I'll be at the Wings game tonight for Kiss Night. Be sure to subscribe to the pod on Apple and Spotify. Leave those 5-star ratings and reviews. It really does go a long way for helping the show continue to grow. I also laugh every single time we do this, Deej, where, like, typical episode, like, we'll go, like, 90 minutes, a little over. Does our average, like, downloads and everything. Last week we went almost 3 hours, and it's, like, far surpassed the normal episode in terms of downloads and people listening.
Which is so crazy, because, like, why? That makes
insane.
no sense to me. Like, why?
So funny. But be sure to subscribe on Apple and Spotify. That is where you'll get the audio version, and you can watch on Spotify the OTB College Show. And then subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel, Outside the Box Podcast YouTube channel, and Underground Industries YouTube channel. YouTube.com/@UndergroundSportsPhiladelphia, YouTube.com/@OTBLaxPod, and YouTube.com/@TheUndergroundIndustries. This has been episode number 411 of the award-nominated, honorably mentioned, number 9 NCAA ranked, number 11 Philadelphia ranked, most disrespectful, most unprofessional lacrosse podcast on the market. It's the Outside the Box Podcast, the official lacrosse podcast on the Underground Industries Podcast Network. For Deej, I'm KB. Enjoy this NLL slate. Gear up for the college show coming your way early next week. And we will see you back here with Deej and myself, and hopefully Hoots, to talk about the NLL, the PLL, and so much more next week. But until then, enjoy the college show with Deej, Hoots, and Jackie Knight on Tuesday, everybody. And we'll see ya on the next one. Peace.
Peace.